Well, good morning. How are you all today? And welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. I want to talk to you today about cancer, curing cancer, the carnivore diet, and things like that. You may ask, what in the world does this have to do with preparing? It has everything to do with preparing. This may be the most important video that I've ever put out, and I hope it helps some people out there. You probably heard this morning that Toby Keith died. He had stomach cancer. You might have heard that Prince, or King, I guess he's king now, Charles in Britain, he is fighting cancer. You might have heard that Paul Harrell has pancreatic cancer. Cancer has been on the rise for many years, and you know, I imagine that some of you are dealing with this too, either personally or with someone that you know. And if you're not, there's a good chance that you're going to be dealing with it sometime in the future. But I want to pass on some information that I have learned over the last year or so that I think is very important. It's going to help you, and and it's going to help your. I'm going to talk about how it applies to preparedness as well. Okay, probably not going to be a real long video here. I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. Some time ago, I came upon, and Kelly is the one who introduced this to me, and of course she has been a big proponent of the keto diet for a long time, and then the carnivore diet, and I resisted it for a long time. I've told that story before. It didn't make any sense. It went counter to everything that I thought that I knew about nutrition. The more I looked at it, the more I listened to actual doctors who were thinking outside the medical industrial complex. I started, and several of those were Ken Berry down in Tennessee, Anthony Chafee in Australia, and a couple of others. I started listening to them and started becoming a believer. And when I went on carnivore, I saw a drastic improvement in my life. My energy levels went sky high, back to where I was when I was much younger, back to my 30s. My aches and pains all went away, and I had major aches and pains. You'd think in the morning I was hobbling down the stairs till I got warmed up. All those went away. My mental acuity increased. My entire life changed when I went on carnivore. That's just, you know, different people are going to have different ways to do it. I'll throw it in here. Some people, if you want to go strict carnivore like Anthony Chafee does, he just eats meat, salt, and water. Okay, and I pretty much I'm on a modified. I'll have a couple of things in addition to that. Maybe I'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. Others say beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. Okay. And I want to encourage you. I don't have time to explain everything on here, and so I would encourage you to, if you have questions like, well, what about cholesterol, Steve? But your cholesterol is going to go sky high. You've been lied to about cholesterol, these doctors say, forever. Okay, you would be amazed. And if I think about this, I'll put one over on the Patreon channel by Anthony Chafee that describes how and he explains how our, you know, the food pyramid and the way that we have been taught to eat all of our lives was designed and thrust upon the public by Kellogg, Dr. Kellogg, and who is the one that the SDA considers their prophet, Ellen G. White. And they were for reasons that you would not believe. I'm not going to say it on here, but I will put something by Chafee on to where he describes it. If you're not familiar with it, you won't believe it. Okay. Now, going down the carnivore ladder a little bit, other people just kind of go to keto. Well, anyway, let's get to the point here, and then I'll fill things in. They discovered that that when people were put on a ketogenic diet, which isn't as extreme as a carnivore, I mean, I'm not really an expert on this because I just went full carnivore. But when they went on a ketogenic diet, very low carbs, okay, knock out all the sugars, knock out all the grains, knock out all those things are killing you, you know. And I know, see how this applies to prepper, because what's the first thing that preppers always go for? Beans and rice, right? Beans and rice. Those things, they are destructive to your system. I'll just put it that way. And if you don't think that I'm right, do your own research before you argue. I'm giving you something that could save your life and can improve your life. Okay? It will improve your life like you won't believe. So they found that when a person goes into ketosis, look it up, that suppresses the cancerous growth. Okay, one of them, I think it's Ken Bray, says that the cancer can't survive in sugar. Okay? That if you remove the sugars from your diets, it will inhibit the growth of cancerous tumors. Okay, the claims are just amazing, but the claims have been shown to be true. Okay, and I'll say that in my own life I have seen it. I'll put on the Patreon channel, like I always do, I'll put some links to several videos by several doctors that are going to help you, if you're new to this, help you understand it. And even if you know something about carnivore, these are going to be some major steps down the road of more fully understanding it and fully understanding the dramatic effects it can have. They explain humans, we weren't meant to eat all the fruits and vegetables and nuts and junk. That's trash food. Now, I know that I'm going to upset, well, I don't know if I'm going to upset. I hope that you will just, instead of arguing, I hope that you'll just look into it yourself before you come on and say, well, I'm just going to stick with my biscuits and gravy. Okay, well, the gravy's good. Well, no, it's not, because of all the flour in it. Well, I get that. I love biscuits and gravy, but please don't come on here and make those kinds of statements. If you want to continue to eat that, that's certainly your business, okay? But to come on here and say something like that, it's counterproductive. We're trying to help people here, and that may affect somebody who's on on the border and say, well, yeah, that's right, I'm just going to. Don't do that. You're sabotaging other people. So if you don't like what I'm saying, dismiss it, but you're missing out. You're missing out on a way that you could improve your life more than you could ever imagine. Simple as that. They've also, there's a one that I'll put up, I think that it's Anthony Chafee. Chafee's a neurosurgeon. These are all extremely smart guys who have done their research. Okay, here's the situation. They've done their research, and nobody who just doesn't think that it sounds right, like me, should argue with it until they have also researched it. Okay? Don't be, so what I'm trying to do is, don't be like me. Don't say, oh, that just doesn't make any sense, I'm not going to do it. I said that, and I was wrong. And if you're saying it, you're wrong too. There's another a video I'm going to put up where Chafee is interviewing a Dr. Seyfried. Seyfried, I forget exactly what he is, metabolic, whatever it is. And he has determined through, he is like Dr. Metabolic, Dr. Metabolism. He has done his life's work on metabolism. What they found was that cancer, they say, is a metabolic disease. It's a metabolic disorder. Okay, that flies in the face of everything that you've heard all of your life. It flies. Your doctors don't know it yet because doctors are resistant. When I have been in touch with my primary care doctor and then the surgeon who did the procedure on me over last summer, I asked them if they were familiar with the carnivore diet. Neither was. I explained it. One was somewhat interested, the surgeon. The other is just, oh, no. Well, they were polite. Oh, well, okay, but I think you should do the Mediterranean diet. Well, Mediterranean is an improvement over eating Little Debbie's all day, but it's not where you want to be. Excuse me while I take a sip. So because cancer is in the news, I want to put this up there. You can find these. You don't have to, if you're not with us on Patreon, I wish you would be, but if you're not, because you just don't want to pay $1, you can find them. If you're on Patreon, I'll put the links up there because that's what I do to make it easier for the patrons. But you can find these. Look up Cancer and Carnivore, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Seafried. There's a whole lot more, many more up there. Watch them. Now, how does this apply to preparedness? Well, if you're feeling better, which you will almost immediately when you go on carnivore, you're going to be thinking better. You're going to be able to handle your life better. You're not going to have the aches and pains that you've been having. Okay? You're going to sleep better. You're going to wake up more well rested. You're going to have energy throughout the day. You are going to drop weight, fat, not weight. You're going to drop all the extra fat you have faster than you can imagine. Now, can you see how that would positively affect your preparedness? Of course. And then if we take it beyond that, think about how you are storing food. Now, I stored food pretty much like everybody else, and I used to tell people to do that, right? Oh man, rice and beans and canned goods and pasta and all these, and I did the same thing, how to store them. Since I started learning about this, it has changed how I food stock. Okay? Meat. You are an animal. You are designed to eat meat. You're not a cow. You can't turn grass and vegetables into the kind of nutrients you want. But Steve, you will ask, if I don't eat all the vegetables that are so good for me, that contain all the vitamins that I want, that will be unhealthy. Please don't argue with me on that. Go learn from these guys who will explain everything to you. Okay? They will explain it. If you eat beef, you will get all of the nutrients you want, that you need. You would be amazed at what a 100% beef diet, and if you want to get a little bit less than that, meat. I don't eat pork, and it's not religious. I don't eat pork. I don't mind fish, but it's just not easy. I have a grill, and I buy a bunch of steaks, so it's just easier for me to go out. And I'm not a big fan of chicken unless it's done with a whole lot of sauces and gravies and things like that. Fried chicken stuff. I like that. But I'll tell you, there's nothing better to me than a steak. I ate 6 steaks yesterday, and here somebody will say, "But I can't afford that." Well, they're cheap steaks. I wouldn't want to eat 6 expensive steaks in a day, right? I get my steaks at Aldi, and they come out. So all together, I had 3 small ones for lunch, 3 small ones for dinner. All in all, I probably ate 2 pounds of steak yesterday for my food. And I had, I slept great. My energy is great. I've been off of carnivore for a while through the holidays and our vacation and all that. And I tell you, I went back on it 2 days ago, and I am already feeling again, on my road to Supermanhood, as it were. And it makes you wonder. Well, I won't get into that. But think about how it would affect your preparedness. Okay, you should stock more protein, meat protein, not plant protein. There is a difference, and you'll hear people say, "Well, rice and beans, you put them together and you get a complete protein." That's a different type of protein. Okay, it's not the type you do best with. Simple as that. And I'll probably get somebody to come on and say it anyway. Don't believe that. Do some research. Actually learn. Be willing to learn. And that's something that not just preppers, but most people, they are resistant to learning anything that disagrees with something they already believe, right? Sure. So it will affect, and here again, I mentioned this in a previous video, I think some time ago. Who will do better, farmers or ranchers? Ranchers. And long-term preparedness. You go out there and eat your cows, you're going to be doing a lot better than going out and eating your tomatoes and your beans and your rice. You're going to be stronger. You're going to have more energy. You're going to sleep better. You're going to be calmer. You're going to think more clearly. And what could be better than that? Okay? So, go watch those things. It will change your life. That's about all I can say. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And I tell you, there's not much that you could do that would be better than switching to a keto or a carnivore diet. Do it. You'll be glad you did. If you've done it yourself, and I know a lot of the last time I mentioned this on a video, I had a lot of people. I was amazed at how many people have been on a carnivore diet. Leave your story for the others, okay? Because you need to give your story on here to help other people and to balance out the yahoo that comes on and says, well, I'll just stick with my whatever. Okay, the guy who refuses to learn. Okay. All right, you all have a good day. Get out there. Eat a steak, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.